We are going to the next session of today. A.G.V. Narayanan, Principal and the Director of DJ Academy of Managerial Science, Coimbatore, will be taking this session. Over to A.G.V. Narayanan, sir.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great opportunity to connect with around 550 faculty members across the region. It's my pleasure talking to you on a great topic, traits of a good teacher. As Dr. A.G.V mentioned, I represent an institution called DJ Academy for Managerial Excellence, which is a standalone business school, 19 years old business school, promoted by a business conglomerate in Coimbatore called Lakshmi Machine Works, popularly known as LMW. With this brief introduction, let me move on. I have titled this presentation as Traits of a Good Teacher rather than Best or Better or Great. There is a reason behind. Okay, in fact, COVID has thrown a lot more opportunities to learn so many things from scholars. A lot of webinars keep going on. And I picked up some of the things from corporate heads as well as very learned academicians all over the world. And that is the reason why I have titled this presentation as Good Teacher. There is a vast difference between doing well and doing good. Doing well reflects achieving your key result areas or key performance indicators which are given to you at your institution. Whereas doing good,
there's a small echo, sir. In your...
Is it so?
Maybe if you could, yeah.
What do I do, sir?
It's okay, sir, because they are just the participants are putting a message.
I understand. Give
yeah,
me
now it's better, sir. I think you can also see that whenever they put, sir.
Right. Okay.
Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So I was talking about doing good. Doing good is nothing but making an impact on any individual for that matter. We need to create or we need to make a very, very positive impact on individuals. Here the individuals mean the students. This is what I picked up from a gentleman called Paul Dupis, who appeared in a webinar a month back, and he is the managing director or CEO of a company called Randstad India. Randstad is a multinational company. They do have their operations in India too, and they are into HR and recruitment space. And that is the reason why I have titled this presentation as a good teacher rather than a great teacher. Allow me to raise a question like, why do you take up this particular job or career? Naturally, the answers may vary. And of course, we have conducted many faculty development programs at our end, and some of the answers I picked up from the people. Of course, there is a clear shift in terms of how a teaching assignment is perceived. Okay? Many people, they take up this assignment as this is considered to be one of the noble professions in the world, undisputable. We cannot deny on that. And of course, we are being a part of transformation of individuals, whether it is a 2-year program or 3-year program or 4 years program. We instill a kind of complete transformation in the individuals. And that is why this is considered to be a noble profession. Okay? And we are not only knowledge disseminators, but also we try to help them in terms of character building for a country like ours. And the kind of satisfaction, I call it as a sense of satisfaction, by the end of 60 minutes or 1.5 hours session, unmatchable, and you cannot replace it with even 1 crore check. And the feedback is quite instantaneous. By the end of your class or at the end of your class, through the body language of the students, you can easily identify whether you have reached the students or not. Feedback is quite instantaneous. And that is the biggest blessing as far as this profession is concerned. And of course, a word of caution from my end. If at all you have an intention to make money by getting into this profession, please avoid getting into this profession. Of course, you can make a lot of money, but you need to build your competence. You need to build your muscles so that you'll be the most sought after academician. Thereby you can make money, but you're a long way to go. And this is what Pope Francis has said. Okay, he is comparing the teachers as the parents. because almost 7 to 8 hours, the students are spending time with us and they are looking at us. They are observing our behavior. They are observing our attitude, and they take a lot of cues or signals from our side. And that is where we assume greater accountability or greater responsibility. We need to send, we need to keep sending positive signals to the students so that we can expect the transformation in him. Let me try to understand how was education then and how is it shaping up now. Education, it has started assuming different dimensions altogether, and it has already attained the status of an industry. Keeps increasing, and of course regulatory bodies like AICTE and UGC, they also keep intervening to ensure the quality, because the volume doesn't or should not compromise on the quality. And of course we have also started talking about a top line revenue or bottom line profit, so that the profit can be plowed back for the interest of the students in terms of creating best learning resources and so on and so forth. So the role of a teacher is getting completely redefined. Of course, at DJAME, we had organized a 2-day residential faculty development program for a leading arts and science college in Coimbatore. And in one of the sessions, we tried to identify what kind of role we do play as a teacher. We break the entire component into macro as well as micro. And friends, believe it or not, we ended up with 82 roles. 82 tasks we are supposed to play in our day-to-day functioning. And some of the roles include, you need to be a teacher, you need to be an administrator, sometimes you need to be a business development executive too, because survival of the fittest has become the mantra nowadays. And you need to become a counselor. You need to be a good psychologist so that you can counsel the students whenever they are facing some issues, either at the institution or outside the institution. You need to become a leader. So as teachers, we need to don many roles. We need to don many hats. And this is why this profession is assuming greater significance now. Now let us look at the younger generation, the so-called Gen Z or the so-called millennials. Look at their aspirations. They are becoming more independent. They become tech savvy or net savvy. Again, thanks to COVID, it has jumped multifold. And they hold the attitude like I, me, myself attitude, rather we as attitude. And they are already married to 3 screens like mobile, computer, and television. A research says OTT platforms are assuming greater significance now, thanks to COVID. And watching television or watching OTT platforms, it has considerably gone up. And the research says people are spending around 3.5 hours or more than 3.5 hours per day on OTT. If that be the case, how are we going to grab their attention? That's the billion-dollar question, not the million-dollar question. And again, the research says globally 82% of the students, they suffer from a disease called FOMO. FOMO is nothing but fear of missing out. A group of 10 students, only 2 students, they don't have a smartphone. The rest of the people, they do have the smartphone. If that be the case, these 2 students, they feel like they are singled out. And they developed a fear called fear of missing out. So this is how the younger generation feels about it. 56% of the Indians, they have admitted the fact that they cannot survive for more than 5 hours without internet. Look at the way we are so addicted to the technology. And 58,000 new users, they are getting connected to social network, one social network or other per day. And by 2016 end, almost 1/4 of the world population, they had a smartphone. Naturally, when they had a smartphone, they had access to anything and everything in. Of course, India is the second largest market for smartphones after US. Okay, now you can think of. The avenues are many, whereas 1970s and 1980s, we didn't have all those entertainment avenues. So naturally, we are forced to read a lot. We are forced to listen to so many things in our life. But now it is not so. The things are totally different. And look at the today's generation. I call them as a power plug generation because wherever they go, they are looking for power socket to recharge their mobile phones. I can also call them as screenagers rather than teenagers because they are so addicted. They are married to 3 screens as I indicated earlier. Let me try to bring out the results of a study done at a New York City restaurant. It happened in 2004 and it happened in 2014 too. Just we are trying to compare the consumer behavior exhibited by the people who have visited this New York City restaurant. So in 2004, they spent an average of 65 minutes at a table. It's around 40 plus people if I guess right. And 3 people, they asked to be seated somewhere else. Okay, they don't want to sit together. And they spent an average of 8 minutes to place the order for their food. And food showed up within 6 minutes. And 2 out of 45 people, they sent the food back, stating that it was too cold. And they left 5 minutes after paying the money. Okay? So overall, they spent on an average of 65 minutes at a table. And friends, please keep it in mind, this happened in 2004 when smartphones were not very popular. Now, this is the generation we are dealing with right now. Now look at what happened in 2014. 18 out of 45 people who turned up at the hotel, they asked whether they can sit somewhere else, maybe nearby the socket, so that they can recharge their mobile phones. Digital life automatically takes over, so they have started taking the photos and they are looking for connecting Wi-Fi. They have started uploading on Facebook as if the entire world is waiting for. The menu card is still waiting on their table. And when the waiter asked for the order, many people, they responded that they need more time, not to go through the menu, but to spend more time on their mobile phones. And 21 minutes later, they were ready to place the order. And 26 people, they spent 3 minutes taking photos of their food. And 14 snap photos of each other eating, retaking if photos are blurry. In fact, they went to the extent of taking the help of the server to take a group photo too, so that they can get it uploaded on all social platforms. And the second off, almost half of the people, they send the food back stating that or claiming that it is too cold. And they left 20 minutes after paying the money. So on an average, they spent 1 hour, 55 minutes totally on that particular table. Now you can imagine what is the kind of challenge the hotelier are facing. Just a minute. Sorry, friends. So this is the generation we are dealing with. That is the biggest challenge we do face. Okay? You name it, they have it. And who knows, alphabets may be taught in this way. Probably A still stands for Apple, but B stands for Bluetooth. So that is the way things are happening right now. Let us look at the startling findings in a survey in US University before moving on to the crux of the presentation. Girls spend on an average of 10 hours per day on their mobile phones, while poor boys, they spend only 8 hours per day. And 60% of the students admitted that they may be addicted to their cell phones. Some of them indicated that they get agitated when they are not able to find their cell phone. Texting almost 94 minutes per day, email 48 minutes per day, Facebook 38.6 minutes per day, surfing internet 34.4 minutes per day. Probably again during the lockdown period, this would have gone considerably up. iPods around 27 minutes. So all put together, 4 hours being spent on all these non-productive activities they can call. For want of time, let us look into all the traits. A small disclaimer from my side. Okay? I don't say I possess all these qualities, but I consider myself as work in progress. We keep learning a lot from others. We keep evolving ourselves. In fact, I keep learning not only from my superiors, not only from my teachers, but also from my peers, but also from my reportees. So I keep my options open so that the learning is a continuous process. So this is the disclaimer with which let me progress with. This is number one, being accountable. So naturally, when you are expecting something from the students, students may expect something from you. So it is your responsibility to fulfill their expectations. Okay? Some of the do's and don'ts are applicable to the faculty members. Number two, adaptability or change. It may be cliche to say change is the only one thing which is constant, but it is true, my dear friends. I mean, look at the way COVID has changed our entire life. Okay? The technology has become the order of the day. And talking to people like you, meeting around 550 people online, I would have never imagined 3 months back. I would have never imagined. Okay. Now technology has made it possible. So better let us try to be ready to adapt ourselves to the changing environment. That matters a lot. Okay. And that is applicable even in a classroom environment. If you feel like your students are not able to pick up anything from your side, if you feel like the body language is sending a different signal altogether, don't hesitate to change the method you are teaching. For which we need to be ready. Be caring. I need not tell you much about it because being a parent like, naturally we need to take care of. Be compassionate, concern for suffering. Recognizing that your students may take the instant, even, and that is a professional counsel. So we have tied up with a professional counseling group, a professional and sits DJ Academy on every, so that students who are having academics or personal issues, they are most welcome to go and counsel, take counseling from the professional counselor. And they keep it very confidential. Cooperation is a lot because we stakeholders, even during the NAC presentation, pointing out how many stakeholders we do have, be it the parents, be it the students, be it the industry, whoever it is, we need to, that's more essential in the competition. Unless we infuse a kind of a creativity in ourselves in terms of methodology, in terms of pedagogy, in terms of mode of teaching, we'll be completely lost. Okay? So we need to be a little more creative so that we can keep the students completely engaged. Because the industry has already started talking about something called customer engagement. And this is perfectly applicable even in a learning environment. We need to keep them engaged so that we can get their attention. Okay, there is something called grabbing the attention, grabbing the eyeball. Because the avenues are many for them. Diversion for diversion. Okay. Say for example, you are looking at a YouTube video, advertisement appears, and you have the option of skipping the advertisement within the first 5 seconds. So naturally the person or the company who advertises, they are left with only 5 minutes to impress you. So within the first 5 minutes, they need to impress you so that you can keep allowing that particular advertisement to continue. Otherwise, you will just press the skip button and you will move on to the main menu. Okay? So that is how we need to, the kind of impact we need to create through our creativity, that matters a lot in terms of grabbing the attention of the students, of course. Dedication, it must be a part of a teacher. You need to be dedicated to the profession you are doing right now. So showing up every day and spending the necessary time to provide your students with the best education. That be determined. You may adopt different methodologies altogether. You may be put into criticism. Okay, there may be There may be many cynics, but still you need to go ahead because you have to look at the end results. As long as you are quite convinced with the end results, never bother. Please keep moving forward. That is what I call it as be determined. Be empathetic. There is a difference between empathy and sympathy. Sympathy, feeling pity, whereas empathy, you're putting yourselves into other shoes. If they're in that position, how do when you are becoming so empathetic, you become so proactive. Okay, that is also one of the traits I'll be covering up. So being sensitive to a student's struggles, even though you may not personally be able to relate to them. So naturally, as a teacher, you must be in a position to put themselves in the student's shoes and see to it from their perspective. The learnings may be many. This is what I call customer engagement. The ability to grab the attention of the entire classroom. That's very essential. Because ultimately, by the end of 60 minutes or 90 minutes, whether you have reached the entire 100% audience, that decides whether you have done justice to the profession you do. Be evolving. I can call it as a Kaizen or continuous learning. Probably you might observe in my presentation, whatever I have picked up in the last 30 days, it has also become a part of this. And that is why I call, we are all work in progress. We keep learning a lot. Okay? So a teacher must continuously look for ways to improve themselves as well as individual lessons. And this is what I heard from Ms. Debrati Sen. He is occupying a very coveted position in a multinational company called 3M Abrasives. Of course, I happened to listen to her. She was in California at that point of time. What was happening? This is what she says. 3 H's, which are so essential for any leader for that matter. The first one is hunger. Don't be happy with the status quo. Keep evolving, keep improving, keep moving forward. Okay, so that hunger we need to have. We need to call it as a fire in the belly kind of. So we need to be hungry for moving ahead, moving further. That's what she calls it, the first H. The second H is something called humility. Naturally, we teachers tend to have something called I know everything attitude, but that's quite dangerous. We need to have students' mentality to learn more, to learn many more things so that we can move forward. And the third one, heart. She says employees are the students, they would like to deal with the humans rather than robots. And that's why I'm a bit hesitant in adopting this online technology. Okay, now I am visible to you. You are not visible to me. I'm not very sure what you are doing. I'm not very sure whether I'm reaching you or not. Okay, so this is the bane of technology, I can call it. So where is the question of face-to-face interaction? Where is the question of empathy? Where is the question of emotional connect? Everything is missing when we are doing it something online. And that's why she calls it heart, human approach. That matters a lot for any leader. Okay? Excellent example from Debrati Sen. Be fearless. Okay? Trying a new approach, people may try to pull you down, but doesn't matter as long as again you are convinced, you please keep going. Okay? Be forgiving naturally as a parent, as a second parent, okay? Putting all the things aside, you need to handhold them. During the COVID, metaphorically, we can say you need to be generous, okay? Volunteering for extra assignments, okay, or giving money out of your own pocket if possible, okay, or even spend your time. Okay, that matters a lot for the students. Teachers do not make enough money, but most teachers are willing to donate their time and money to help the students out in areas where a need is recognized. Complete grit. I can call it as a Tadayara Thaka. The determination to overcome any obstacle which is coming in your way. Keep moving forward. You need to possess that kind of grit, which is necessary to make sometimes the personal sacrifices to ensure that every goal is reached. You need to be a source of inspiration. That matters a lot. That's what I told you in the beginning. The students keep getting so many cues from your side. or signals from your side. So naturally, you need to be very, very cautious when you are dealing with the people, when you are dealing with the students. You need to keep sending positive signals from your end, and thereby you become a source of inspiration. Probably all of you might have listened to Mr. Shailendra Babu. He was inspired by so many people in his life, and he says he owes to them a lot. And this is what the students are looking at. So the ability of a teacher to get their students to buy into, they need to believe in, and to be motivated to become lifelong learners, kind of. Okay? So you need to make a long-lasting inspiration in their life, throughout their life. Okay? Almost Mr. Shailendra Babu is in his late 50s, but still he is able to recollect the names of the teachers who have inspired him through his whole life. Okay? And be joyful. You need to be the cheerleader for yourself. Coming to the class each day in a good mood, excited and enthusiastic about doing your job. So naturally, it is getting transformed. The students also become joyful. Okay? If you are having a lousy attitude, naturally the students are also going to have a lousy attitude. Ultimately, it doesn't serve the purpose. If the teacher is joyful, the students are going to be joyful. It needs to be a joyful learning rather than stressful learning for the students. Okay? Be kind, self-explanatory in nature. Be well organized. Somebody says, by looking at your table, I can understand your attitude. Okay? So we need to be well organized. The ability to keep the things in order, neat and tidy. Okay? So that you send the signal to the students, positive signal to the students. The way we keep our table, that reflects our personality. Be passionate, whatever you do. So please start loving what you are doing. Teaching with enthusiasm and exuberance on a daily basis because you love the. There is a difference between stress and passion. Working hard for something which you don't care about, we can call it as stress. Working hard for something which you love, that is called passion. So where is the question of stress? When you arrive at the moment where you start loving what you are doing. Be patient. Some of the students may take their own time to get into the groove. If that be the case, you need to be more patient. So the ability to see the whole picture and to understand that the college year is a marathon and not a goes off just like that. So you should not give up on a student. Probably they should continuously try new strategies, understanding that eventually something will work. Be resilient. This is the word which has been used quite common nowadays because it talks about the ability or the skill with which you face the adversity. Okay? Adversity, say for example, COVID is an adversity. So not allowing any adversity to stop you from accomplishing your goals. That is what we call it resilience, we call it. A teacher must be resilient in overcoming the many obstacles that will present themselves over the course of a year. Again, this I picked up from one of my faculty colleagues. We used to have something called weekly faculty seminar. So a couple of weeks back, she has handled something called EQ, and ultimately she has introduced a new terminology called adversity quotient, AQ. So we have always come across something called IQ and EQ, but here she talks about something called AQ, which talks about the skill, which talks about the tenacity with which we face the adversities. Okay. She has also arrived at the formula like IQ multiplied by EQ multiplied by WQ. WQ stands for will quotient. All forms something called adversity quotient. Let us try to gain this adversity quotient so that we will become a better leader. Okay, and of course, I'm also given to understand, and this is the most sought after character in a leader in the industry: resilience. Be trustworthy. The student should trust you. That's very, very important. The ability to get others around you to believe in you and what you are doing. You must gain that trust so that your task in terms of transforming them, it is going to be an icing on the cake kind of. Be well prepared whenever you are going to the classroom. Please be well prepared. Okay? Students are quite clever nowadays. They can easily draw your caliber by the way you are handling your session. Be a continuous leader. Okay? Learning should not end at any given point of time. Almost, I have come across many doctorate, many PhDs, faculty members. The moment they complete their PhD, they think that they have learned everything in their life. It's not so. Whenever I meet the people who are appearing for Vivavos, I used to tell them, this is where you are learning, or this is when your learning stops. Okay? So you need to keep learning. Great teachers are not afraid to ask other teachers what they are doing in their classroom so that peer-to-peer learning takes place. Be proactive. So when you are acquiring all these traits, all these qualities, naturally you can easily gauge, you can easily ascertain what is going to happen if you adopt strategy. You are going to adopt strategy. Easily you can predict. Okay? There is no compromise on this. Being an effective communicator, that's very, very essential. Because many people, many teachers, they may have abundant knowledge in them. They may not be able to deliver. They fumble for words. Okay? So naturally they lose respect. They don't command respect. Communication is a critical component of a successful teacher. I'm not expecting all the teachers to have flowery language. You need not have a flowery language. You need not be a Shakespeare. Students don't expect that from your side. I used to hear from my professor who was the director of BIM Trichy, Bharadasan Institute of Management Trichy. He is my mentor, he is my guru. He used to tell us, Baba, if you learn 400 words in your life, that's more than enough to come out with a very decent communication in your life. 400 words are more than enough to have a perfect communication, to have a decent communication with all the people around you. That's what I keep following. So great teachers keep the people completely. Unfortunately, this generation, they are falling into the trap called 140 character or 160 character syndrome. You know what I'm talking about, something called SMS language. EWO has become numeral 2, THE becomes D. And the most unfortunate thing is, because we keep hearing such a kind of a communication from the HRs who are coming and recruiting the students. In my earlier institution, I was taking care of the placements too. I had a great opportunity to interact with all the tech HRs. So they used to come and tell us, your guys are too good in terms of knowledge, but in terms of communication, they are far, far behind. Okay? And of course, they have also noted some of the students that they have started adopting SMS language in their official communication. That is dangerous. Okay? LTNS, it just replaces something called long time no see, or I have not seen you for a longer time. So look at the way how people are falling into the prey of 140 character or 160 character syndrome. Of course, now thanks to WhatsApp, these limitations are no longer valid, but still I see people keep using such a kind of SMS language. And this is not only happening in informal communication, this has started happening even in formal communications. Okay? Look at this, a gentleman called Prathamesh Pimputkar, and this is the feedback he has given on Tata portal, Tata Motors portal. Okay, so conveys the message, I own Monza and can say it beats even Honda City with its space and features. Swift desire and all are nothing in front of it. Amazing car. Look at the way he has written on a social media. Okay, they have started taking this SMS language even to formal communication. That's more dangerous. And this is the New Year greetings which I have received from my own nephew. who is doing his BHMS. This happened in 2016. Now look at this. New Year wishes to probably that is what I presume. To my buddies, dudes, respectable and beloved ones, let the sweet lava of the upcoming year engulf and the bitter things of 2015. Let's welcome the 2016. So this is the way this generation started communicating. Of course, people have also started writing a dictionary on SMS language. Friends, being in teaching profession, communication is a must, because a small punctuation may change. An error in punctuation, a small error in punctuation may change the whole context. And when it changes the whole context, you become a matter of ridicule. Okay, so that's why I'm asking you to be little more careful while you are conversing with the students. Okay, either in the oral format or in the written format. Okay, let me take some of the examples quickly and then move on. Okay, look at this. The driver managed to escape from the vehicle before it sank and swam. Before it sank and swam to the river bank. How should it be? The driver managed to escape from the vehicle before it sank and swam to the river bank. Okay. The convict said the judge is mad. Allow. The convict said the judge is mad. There is a hoarding in front of a shop. Are you an illiterate? Write today for free help. You are already an illiterate. Where is the question of writing it? Emergency foot surgery clinic had a hoarding called Walk-ins Welcome. Emergency foot surgery clinic. A signboard in a hotel. Visitors are expected to complain at the office between the hours of 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. daily. What do they want? Do they want us to come and complain every day in between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m.? That's what it means. Man, a woman without her man is nothing. This can also be altered like this. A woman without her man is nothing. So language always counts. Okay. This is what happened in a general manager room. So general manager has just left for a meeting. Phone rings and his assistant picks up the call. And he hears, "Can I talk to your general manager?" He replies, "Sir, he is no more." English is a very, very, very funny language, dear. Please understand. "Sir, he is no more." Other end says, "Shouldn't be. Just to check out. I spoke to him 10 minutes back." Reply comes, "Sir, that is true. He was here sometime back, but just now he passed away." You will become a matter of ridicule if you are not taking care of your communication. This is some of the leave letters, Vahera, which I have come across. Since I have to go to my village to sell my land, along with my wife, please sanction me 1 week leave. Since I have to go to the cremation ground at 10 o'clock and I may not return, please grant me off-day casual leave. I am suffering from fever, please declare 1 day holiday. As my headache is paining, please grant me leave for the day. As my mother-in-law has expired and I am responsible for it, please grant me 10 days leave. My wife is suffering from sickness and I am her only husband at home. I may be granted leave. As I am marrying my daughter, please grant a week's leave. As I want to shave my son's head, please leave me for 2 days. Dear sir, with reference to the above, please refer to my body. Telegram sent by a bank branch manager to the zonal office. Wife serious, send the substitute immediately. Language. And this is a practical example. This happened when I was with my earlier institution. And this is a letter from an event management company. Please, friends, make a note of it. This is an event management company and they are asking us to advertise through them on FM. And the letter says, because this talks about the number of listenership each FM has got. And look at the second paragraph, 92.7 big FM, which has 2.47 lakhs of listeners, space, hip. What do they mean? Will I go to them? So this is quite dangerous. And look at the third paragraph too. They have committed the same mistake again. Moon TV Pondicherry, which has got 4 lakhs of listeners hip. I just threw this letter in the dustbin. Yeah. Now you can understand why communication is most important. Very, very essential being in teaching professional. Be networked. This matters a lot. But when I started off my academics way back in early 90s or late 90s, if at all we want to connect ourselves with the big people, we need to write a letter. Physically, we need to write a letter and post it and await communication from them. Now, no longer. You can easily connect yourself with anybody and everybody in the world thanks to the technology. If that be the case, naturally, you need to focus more on networking. I'm not blowing my own trumpet here, friends. I have mentioned 2 people during my presentation. One is the MD and CEO, Paul Dupes, of MD and CEO of a company called Randstad. And the second, Dabarati Sen. You know, now I'm connected with Randstad MD on LinkedIn. I'm following Mrs. Dabarati Sen on LinkedIn. That is what technology gives us. And we can derive a lot of benefits out of it. Ultimately, it's a win-win situation kind of when you are broadening your networking up. So networking has become a critical component of being a great teacher. Social networks allow the teachers from all over the world to share ideas and provide best practices quickly. Be respected. I can say earn respect, command respect through your knowledge, through your delivery, through your attitude. You try to earn, you try to command respect. The respect can be earned over a period of time. Respected teachers are able to maximize the learning process because they do not typically have the classroom management issues at all, because you are most respected. The moment you enter the classroom, you can feel the difference, whether you are being respected or not. You can easily measure your respectability. Always have a positive attitude. To be very honest with you, during the first week of this lockdown, I was completely clueless on how are we going to move further. How are we going to move further on? Then I picked up the friends from all my well-wishers, and then we started functioning. In fact, we have become more busy during the lockdown period, thanks to so many webinars which keep happening. I just made a count of how many webinars have been attended by my faculty. I have a team of 9, okay? And on an average, we have attended 25 webinars so far, either from the industry or from the academic institutions. Okay, so have that positive attitude. And attitude is something which is contagious in nature. As a leader, if you have the positive attitude, naturally your peers will have the positive attitude. They will pick up that attitude from your side and they will become positive. If you are carrying the negative attitude on, how are we going to do during this lockdown? It's gone, completely gone. Okay? And that's more applicable to the students also. When you're dealing with the students, you need to send a positive signal to them so that they pick up the thread from your side and they come up in their life. So companies hire the students for the character and train them for the skills, because the industry believes attitude cannot be built over a period of time. Attitude cannot be built over a period of time. That is why this so-called KSA formula, knowledge, skill, and attitude, now it has become ASK, attitude, skill, and knowledge. Because knowledge can be infused, knowledge can be instilled, Knowledge can be taught, whereas attitude can never be taught. And that is why all the recruiters, they look at the attitude part of it in their employees. To summarize the whole thing, I'm reading a book called Marketing 4.0 written by Philip Kotler. And while he was talking about the brand management, he took some of the concepts from Stephen Sampson, who has written a book called Leaders Without Titles. Even without titles, you can become the leader. Even without having an authority to influence your students, you can still influence the students. When you are having all the 6 attributes, when you possess all the 6 attributes. So this is my summary. Physicality. Physically attractive ones have strong influence. Dress maketh men. So actually, the way you are attired, the way you are dressed up, the way you conduct yourself, okay, you can command respect. Intellectuality, ability to think beyond which is so obvious, or ability to innovate. And that is what I call it as a Kaizen. Keep improving. Intellectuality. Sociability, the confidence with which you engage yourselves with others on social platforms, with others on any platform for that matter. So naturally, you need to take care of your verbal as well as non-verbal communication skills. Emotionality, you need to connect yourself with the students emotionally. We call it emotional connect. This is also applicable in the industry. Now, post-COVID, all the companies are trying to connect themselves with the customers emotionally. Personability, conscious of what we are good at. I know this is where I am good at. I know this is what I am good at. And I have my own limitations. How can I overcome my limitations? What I call it self-awareness. This is very, very essential for a teacher to see. And morality, needless to say, you need to be ethical. You need to have the integrity. And ethics and integrity cannot be taught, but it is infused by looking at you, by looking at your attitude, by looking at the way you conduct yourself, by looking at your behavior. People can easily grasp this ethics and integrity from your side. Okay? Ultimately, your dream job doesn't exist. You need to create. You must create it. And doing what you like is freedom. But liking what you do is happiness. Let us move towards attaining happiness. And if you think you are too big for small jobs, maybe companies may think that you are too small for big jobs. You cannot get opportunities. Institutions, you cannot get opportunities. If you get a job you love, you will never even work for a day in your life. This is what I mentioned at the beginning. There is a difference between stress and passion. You are so passionate about your job, you don't feel tired. Passion is the difference between having a job and having a career. There's a vast difference between a job and a career. Career gives you a mental satisfaction. Job may give you material benefits, but it doesn't last longer. Friends, what do you want? Job or career? This is what Mr. Shailendra Babu also mentioned on that day. We don't teach for the income, we teach for the outcome. Thank you very much. It's great listening to you for the last 1 hour. I stick to my time. And this is my email ID. And these are all my numbers. I was talking about networking. Am I right? Now I'm connected with 605 participants. I'm damn sure around 50 to 100 people will give me the friends request either on my Facebook or on my Instagram or on my LinkedIn, whatever it is. And this is what I call it, networking. Thank you, friends. Wish you a great time ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We have got some few questions which have been asked to you, sir. Can I put the questions to you?
Please, sir.
The first one is from Dr. Muthusamy. He's the principal of AVP College, Tirupur. Very good presentation, sir. Could you please explain FOMO, fear of missing out?
Okay. So this is quite prevalent among the youngsters nowadays. Okay, I have also come out with an example. I don't mind repeating it. Say, for example, you are having a set of 10 students. Okay, among them, 2 people, they don't have a smartphone, whereas the rest, all the 8 people, they are holding a smartphone. So they have access to anything and everything thanks to 4G. But these 2 people, they feel like they are singled out. They are missed out in the entire socialization process. And this keeps bothering them a lot. This is what I call it fear of missing out, which is quite prevalent in Gen Z.
The next question is from Dr. D. Subhashini, Professor, Erode College of Arts and Science, Erode. My question is how to keep the students attentive in class for the whole session.
This is what I have covered through all my session. You need to be creative. You need to find ways and means to keep them engaged. The moment you observe that your methodology of teaching doesn't reach the entire audience, be prepared to change your methodology. Now, thanks to the technology, you can adopt light and sound methods. Even we have observed it is happening in government schools, which is quite encouraging. Many teachers, they adopt different methodologies to teach mathematics to the students so that they grab the attention. So depending on the nature of the subject, you need to select a mode through which you can reach all the students. So grabbing the attention, it is in your hands. You need to develop that.
The next question is from Dinesh Kumar. He is from ECS department, VLB CAS. How to win jealous people? How to win jealous people?
Be kind to them. Be kind to them. Be generous to them. And that is the way we need to win the jealous people.
I would like to thank you, sir, for joining us for this session. I would like to thank both the speakers of today's session, Dr. Ponpandian and Dr. A.G.V. Narayanan, for their wonderful session today. Monday, we are having 2 sessions. The first session is being handled by Dr. Parimalagan, and the second session will be handled by Dr. Muthusamy of AVP College of Arts and Science, Tirupur. I would request all the participants to kindly fill up the link which has been shared in the chat box. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.